Good evening, Julien. How is Paris, and how are you?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing great. It's very considerate of you to ask me how I'm doing, but today is your turn on the CX therapy couch. So, how are you doing, Max?
I'm fine. I have something to ponder. I don't have pain. I have literally a story about the shirt on my back, and it's a very good story. My wife bought a shirt for her brother online, and it was his birthday, and shirt came, plenty of time, wrapped it all up, gave it to him, tried it on. He's bigger than I am. It was too small for him. So, okay, all in this wonderful world of easy exchanges, she sent an email saying, I want to return this. They said, great. What do you need? We're going to do it with this size. Okay, great. We're sending you the new shirt with a new size. Don't bother to send the return. It's yours. So I got a lovely shirt as a result. And it's funny, we were at a friend's house a little while ago, and this came up. They had something else, and this has become, I don't know if this is happening in France, but this is a pretty common, Amazon does this and some other places too, where I assume that there's some algorithms that say, okay, this person is clearly not abusing this, but these things, they don't cost enough to be worth getting the return and the cost of restocking and everything. Just let them have it. And, there must be some algorithms to limit that. But so that's the whole story. And the question is, have you seen this? And what do you think about don't bother to return returns?
Yeah, we've kind of touched that topic a while ago. Just before I get there, you are very lucky. Because back when I was in Hong Kong, whenever my wife would buy a shirt for either her brother or her brother-in-law, who are both Asian and incredibly fit, whenever the t-shirt would be too large, that would end up with me, which I wouldn't feel as good as you felt. But, well, at least I get a bunch of free t-shirts. But we definitely see that trend. And I think there's a very simple reason. I guess is with the algorithms we have these days, it should be fairly easy to identify someone who is cheating the system. And you used to have that, especially in the US. Can't remember 10, 20, 30 years ago, you had the whole, TV shopping experience where you would place a phone call and you had, can't remember what it was because I didn't live in the US.
And QVC and
exactly. So QVC was famous for that, where you would just order something and you had 60 days to return it. So you would use the product for 59 days, return it at no cost and get a full refund and do it again. But now we have algorithms that prevent people from cheating, meaning if you're abusing the system, I'm guessing they're just going to force you to return the product and have the expense, the shipping fees and everything. But it's actually a win-win. Because, if the shirt does not fit, you got to go to the post office. And I'm pretty sure we had, if not one, multiple stories about the post office, because in France is one of my multiple nemesises, where you definitely don't want to go to the post office. Actually, when I need to return a product and I know I'm going to have to line up, I think twice whether it's better I just buy it again, really depending on the value, but probably I'm not even going to bother returning it. So it's definitely troublesome for the customer, but it's not that great for the company either, because paying the return, so you paid one shipment one way, you pay it the other way, you get a product that most probably you're not going to be allowed to resell anymore because it's out of the package.
Right.
If you're a reseller and you did not pack it yourself, you can't do anything with it, so it's probably going to go to the trash anyway, and you've paid so much for something that's worthless. So I think it's really a win-win as long as people don't abuse it. And that's when the algorithm kicks in, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess to the extent you could return something and the company could take the return and repackage and resell it, the lose would be very indirect and on the consumer, which would be somewhere along the line, there'd be a little bit of a price increase because, they're giving all the stuff's going out and they're eating. There's a cost they're eating, and that's got to show up somewhere. So it's at some point everything's going to go up a little bit because of the just the overall. You're adding a little underlying cost.
The other question it opens, however, it's a much less pleasant one. And I'm probably going to have to wear my Greta Thunberg hat for that one. But we're just living in a purely consumable world where you order products, not a good fit, you keep it or you trash it, you get a new version, and we just piling up with stuff. I remember my grandparents used to repair anything that was broken. Literally, my mom keeps stuff that are 50 years old from her own parents because she would not trash it. There is always a way to repair something. We change phones. I mean, I change my phone every 3 years if it lasts that long. Most people would change phone every year or so. You change car very often. You change your water sprinkler every spring, apparently. So, I mean, they're all the things that we tend to change. And this is just one more step in the direction of let's just consume more instead of trying to utilize what we already have available.
God, you're so right. And, it's interesting for my family. The way that plays out tends to be, okay, I'm going to get a new shirt. I'm going to get a new this, but I'm not going to get rid of the old one. So I end up, we have closets upon closets full of stuff that I will never wear, but I still have it just in case styles could swing back and it could become the fashionable thing. And
well, you might you might use the same rule as the one my wife is using. If the holes in your shirt are bigger than the one for the arms or the one for the head, it's time to trash the shirt and buy it.
Yeah, okay. And none of the things that, and that's the other thing is a lot of the stuff that we're holding on to is the stuff that I would never wear enough to get a hole in it in the first place because I never liked it that much. But I might wear it someday just in case.
Well, now we got nearby our home something we didn't have in the past, which is those boxes where you can donate your clothes. And we tend to be pretty good at this. It's, again, a win-win situation. I love this win-win situation where that's really benefits everyone, where you can actually empty your drawers because you badly need space. We all badly need space. We buy too much crap. But it's also going to benefit someone else. And back to your original story, I think there should be something, and I can't tell you what, but there should be something in place. I think that's a win-win situation, telling people, don't return the product, keep it. But there might be some kind of suggestion or education piece going along with this to make sure that you do something right. I've seen lately a store in France, mostly for kitchen appliances, robots, vacuums, fridge, all this kind of stuff. Where now they have a plan. They offer a plan for whatever, €4 a month, whatever it is. Can't remember the number. Where you can bring any electronics to their store, whether you purchase it in that store or not, does not matter. If it is repairable, they will repair it for you as part of the package. Obviously, if you need additional piece, I guess that comes at an additional cost. But they're trying to change the way people consume things by turning their store into buy and maintain. And I think that's a brilliant thing to do. And
okay, you just blew my mind with that one. In the 60s, 70s, that's the way every appliance store was. It was as much a repair shop and electronics. They were as much repair shops as they were stores to buy this stuff. B, the manufacturers are doing everything they can to make it so that the thing's going to break in 5 years, because I have a 22-year-old washer that I had to redo the fuse because the fuse goes out every couple of years. But the damn thing won't break. So it ain't broke. I don't want to fix it. And the new ones, you read online, it's like, yeah, in 5 years, you're going to have to get a new one or do an expensive repair. And it's just mind-boggling to me. In some ways, this is back to the future. And in some ways, initially I was thinking the manufacturers building things designed to die works against them. But I guess that actually supports them in this, and that, I've got a situation where people are going to need it more and more.
And not Amazon, Apple got a pretty big fine for this a few years back, right? Can't remember how you call that, but the fact that you're building your product with the aim of having the product die after 12 or 18 months.
Yeah, planned obsolescence is the.
So well, there is that. So I mean, we're probably on a different note compared to where you started this discussion, because there's plenty to say about it. But I agree. This is a trend. It's not US only. We see the same thing in France. It's a win-win. It's probably not so smart for the environment. And it's probably about going back to basics and going back to whatever happened in the 50s and in the 60s, which I did not quite experience, but I believing what my grandparents have taught me, I believe that's basically the right thing to do.
I like it. All right. I felt good to begin with, but I feel great now.
Perfect. You like the shirt?
I like the shirt. I mean, it's not. It's kind of gray, but I like it. It's comfortable. It works. It's short sleeve, so it's good in warm weather.
Excellent.
It's a win-win-win. My wife won, and my wife and brother-in-law won. The gift was a success. The company won because it was easier and cheaper for them, and I win because I got a shirt.
Exactly. Win-win-win. That's the right situation we want. Well, glad to hear you're feeling much better. Thank you so much for your time, Max. And hopefully there will be another pleasant story next week, and I'll try to come up with something then.
All right. That sounds great. Thanks, Julien.
Thank you, Max. Bye.
Bye.